Thank you. These children are part of our Sunday school program where they learn to preserve our rich cultural heritage. Please give them a round of applause. Our next speaker is Dechen Tsoring, the President of the Tibetan Association of Northern California.
Dechen Tsoring is short. Wow. I look around and I get goose pimples. This is amazing to have all of you here. You know, I think this was a dream for the Tibetan community for a while. And we're really excited that the dream is coming true of bringing all of you together once again. Yeah, I'm just nervous looking at all of you, not because I'm standing here, but more just the idea of all of us being in one room. So congratulations to all of you for getting here. I know some people had to come all the way from San Francisco without the bridge in functioning order. I know that was harder than usual. So thank you for making the time and putting in the effort and being here. So I'm also going to just start by a small, unusual disclaimer, and that is, this is the first time that TANK has organized an event of this nature, of this caliber, in a grand, scale of this kind. And so we've made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to admit that. So please practice compassion and forgiveness. Because we're learning how to do this the American way. So ladies and gentlemen and dear friends, on behalf of the Tibetan Association of Northern California, I am very happy to welcome all of you to this very special Tibetan Thanksgiving event, an event which we feel is long overdue. Today we are especially honored by the presence of representatives of offices of United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and San Francisco Supervisor Chris Daley. We want to thank Berkeley City Council member Chris Worthington, who will probably be here shortly if he isn't already, for joining us. And we are most honored to also have Professor Houston Smith joining us today. As we Tibetans commemorate the 50th anniversary of His Holiness's flight into exile, followed by the exodus of over 100,000 Tibetans, we are filled with great sadness and distress as we have to acknowledge that we have failed and have been unable to end China's brutal occupation of our country and the merciless repression of our people inside Tibet. As executions of Tibetans continue to take place under Chinese authorities and world leaders are compromised by their economic dependence on Chinese market, times are more challenging today than ever before for the Tibetan cause. At the same time, we, the Tibetans in exile, and particularly the Tibetans in the Bay Area, feel deep gratitude for all the support we have received in our efforts to establish meaningful lives for ourselves in our respective host countries. Today is our opportunity to celebrate your generous contribution to our lives and cause. You have not only helped us individually, but you have made it possible for our cause to be known worldwide and to have reached the highest offices in countries around the world. Here is how it all started in the Bay Area. It can be safely said that the Tibetan Dharma centers all over the West particularly in the Bay Area, made great strides in raising the issues of Tibetan culture and philosophy. We applaud your work and your support for them. Then began the emergence of Tibetan settlers in the Bay Area. Not hippies, maybe so. Just 2 decades ago, there were only about 24 Tibetans here in the Bay Area. Today, we have grown to a population of about 1,500 Tibetans. The first non-religious event was held in the Berkeley Eye House at UC campus in 1980 with a handful of Tibetans and their Western supporters in response to the displacement of Tibetans from Bhutan. In '83, when those first Tibetans, together with a handful of engaged Western supporters, founded the Bay Area Friends of Tibet, few people in the country knew anything about Tibet, let alone China's occupation and the suffering of our people. When Bay Fought circulated the first petitions for Tibet on UC Berkeley campus, students were asking, what and where is Tibet? But all that changed after a few Westerners observed China's brutal crushing of the Tibetan uprising in Lhasa in 1987 and brought images shot on hidden camcorders to the West. Americans like yourselves started public education campaigns in response to the imposition of martial law that followed. We are very grateful to all the volunteers and past executives of Bay Fought for their leadership in the early and more recent years, and particularly Giovanni Vassallo for his commitment and tireless leadership of Bay Fought for the past 10 years. And I just want to turn off your cell phones. That was a reminder. I just want to say here that I will be mentioning a few names, but I know there are lots of names that should be mentioned, but I just want to apologize if you felt like your name should be mentioned but didn't get mentioned. Again, please practice forgiveness and compassion. Dozens of Tibet support organizations sprung into life within the next decades after '83. After China's crushing of dissent from their own people during the Tiananmen Square in 1989, the plight of Tibet and our nonviolence resistance under the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama reached a level of visibility that for the first time brought our cause to the attention of people and politicians all over the world. The Nobel Peace Prize awarded to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama on December 10, 1989, resulted in unprecedented media attention to his leadership and our cause. As the Tibetan community grew in the Bay Area, so did the need for an organized community group that offers a sense of family away from home. On July 9, 1990, the auspicious birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, TANK was founded. Many of you who founded TANK are sitting right here in this room today. TANK was founded to serve the needs of our small but growing exile Bay Area community. Perhaps the turning point for the Tibetan population increase in the Bay Area is the resettlement of Tibetans from Asia to the Bay Area. Most of us Tibetans arrived here with our own individual needs and often with not much more than a suitcase full of clothes. Many of you here in this room helped us make a life for ourselves in the Bay Area. When 50 of Tibetans arrived in 1991 as a result of the Congress-assisted resettlement project, you provided us jobs, housing, and guidance. And when our families were able to join us here, you helped us with visas, with applications to schools and colleges for our children and ourselves. I am sure many Tibetans here will join me in particularly thanking Julia Shepherdson, who led the Tibetan Resettlement Project along with a long list of volunteers. Chaksamba, our very first successful Tibetan opera and musical organization in the Bay Area, received generous support from Western friends like you. In show of gratitude, Chaksamba members